Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Thanks for joining me today, where today I want to talk about a topic that I have been thinking about probably more than I care to admit over the last few weeks. And I think it's interesting, and I think it's something that a lot of photographers could find really insightful. And it's all around how we think as photographers. Now, I'm not talking about things like composition or settings and all of these technical things. I think what I'm getting at is something a little bit more philosophical. So to help illustrate the point that I'm talking about in this video, I've decided to come to a village that holds a lot of personal significance for me. It's small, it has a population of probably less than 30 people, and it's where my grandparents lived. They owned a farm in this valley, it's where my mum was born, and it's where I spent a number of really happy years in my early childhood. And I think we all probably have places like this in our lives that don't necessarily mean a lot to other people, but mean an awful lot to ourselves. Now, this village is fairly indescript. It's not somewhere that you would necessarily think would have photographic potential, and I'm here to explore that today. I've obviously revisited over the years. Sadly, my grandparents are no longer alive, and we've all moved away from this area, so it's not somewhere that I ever really get a chance to revisit. And I don't live locally, but for some reason I'm just feeling quite nostalgic, and I've never come here with a camera, so I'm interested to see what photographic potential it has, and more so, I'm just curious how the photos I take will make me feel. I feel if you have a strong connection to a place, if you have a lot of history in a particular place, or a lot of personal significance attached to memories created in a place, then by photographing that location and that place, surely you're going to create photos that you're happy with. Now, the reason that I'm making this video today is because this week I've had a bit of an epiphany, and it's kind of been bubbling under the surface for a while, but it really started to kind of click this week when I was looking back at sort of old hard drives and looking back at my portfolio, and I started to notice something in my images that I found quite interesting and a little bit surprising. Now, it shouldn't be surprising given the things that I'm interested in. I really love film and cinema. I love the theatre. I love reading. I'm really drawn to narrative and storytelling. And I've known this about myself for a long time, and it's slowly starting to seep its way into my photography. And I think a lot of creative people, yourself included, might have similar interests. And, you know, if you're venturing into creative pursuits, it all becomes a bit of a melting pot, and all of these external influences can impact the work that you create. But the thing that I discovered is that the images that really put a smile on my face, and the images that I was really drawn to, were not the ones of the big vistas of the honeypot locations. They all kind of left me feeling pretty flat. I mean, yeah, it's nice to have a great photo of a really beautiful view or a beautiful scene, but really the things that were the most poignant to me were some of the photos that were slightly more significant to my own sort of personal history, and to the things that felt very aligned to my life and to the things that I'm interested in. There are so many stories and memories attached to this village, and as I'm walking around this afternoon, they're all flooding back and are definitely influencing what I'm pointing my camera at. It's like all this disused farming equipment. It just makes me think of the years that I spent on my granddad's tractor just driving around the fields, and some of these pieces of machinery would have been ones that I'd have seen when I was a child, because they've just been left here to sort of decay over the years. And by taking a photo of that, when I look back at these photos in years to come, I'm going to get those memories and those feelings again. And this location is obviously really specific because it's a place that my family have very strong roots, but it's why I do a lot of my photography in and around North Wales, because I just have a real connection to this part of the country because I've visited it so much over the years. I've created a lot of memories here, and those are just places that help me create photos that I'm happy with. And I'm sure there are places like that for you. You know, it might not necessarily be the place that you grew up. It might be somewhere that you've visited on holiday and created some nice memories there. And when you go back and you revisit, you have a bit more of an intimate knowledge of that particular place. And I think that intimate knowledge is just something that I'm drawn to in the photography that I consume as well. I'm really a big fan of photo books and of photo projects, because if a photographer has taken the time to immerse themselves in a particular location, in a particular subject, and they've created a body of work around that, that's the same kind of thing. These are the photos and these are the books that really kind of are timeless in that respect, because they're not tracing trends. They're not necessarily just photos of really popular compositions and popular vistas. They have that additional layer of significance, and it's something that I'm just really drawn to. Now, I appreciate this might be a little deep, a little abstract, a little bit over the top, but this is genuinely how my mind works, and I've started to kind of embrace it and just understand that this is just the thing that I'm drawn to. And it's like the images that I've shared today. I am going to look back at these photos in years to come, and I'm going to really, really feel that connection to them. They're going to be timeless for me, and I'm going to have a smile on my face when I look at them. And that's kind of the feeling that I want to chase, and that's the thing that I'm going to be thinking about whenever I'm going to venture somewhere with my camera to do some serious photography. And I think it's beneficial to do that from time to time. It doesn't need to be something you do every time you go out with your camera. As I've mentioned, I love photography. I could go out with my camera any day of the week to any particular place and have a great time. But I just want to give myself opportunities every so often to really immerse myself in a location that feels very significant to me. And I just encourage you guys to do the same. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you found it vaguely insightful, slightly interesting. I appreciate the photos that I've shared are very, very important to me and my history, but they probably don't mean an awful lot to you guys. But I hope that by sharing work that is, you know, very, I guess, very specific to me and very connected to me, I hope that enthusiasm comes through in the images, and I hope that's interesting and a little bit insightful. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Apologies that this video has been slightly self-indulgent. You'll have to bear with me. This will happen from time to time. But I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and thank you for watching and for sticking around. If you did enjoy it, if you could give the video a thumbs up, that would be great. And if you haven't already, do consider hitting that subscribe button so you can come along for the next one. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next week.